Hello students, this is a lesson for class 5th subject geography. Already I have started with this topic, okay, that is the weather and climate. We have seen in the first part of this topic what is the meaning of weather, that is, it is the atmospheric condition of a place given for a smaller duration of time and for a smaller area, right? Then what is climate? Climate is different from weather. When we are talking about climate, it is the average weather condition of a place over a larger area for a longer duration of time. So when we are talking about climate, we are talking about the seasons in one particular region, that is a bigger landmass. For example, Indian subcontinent, we have different seasons in India, that is we are describing the climate of this particular place. So today we are going to learn about factors affecting or determining the climate of a particular place. In the last class I have discussed about various elements which make the weather conditions possible, or how weather department gives us the weather data of a particular place based on temperature, winds, the amount of rainfall, then atmospheric pressure and so on. So let's begin with the factors affecting climate of a place. The first factor what we are going to see now is the latitude. Students, already we have learned about latitudes and longitudes in the first topic. Latitudes and longitudes are the imaginary lines drawn on the earth which help us to locate places on the earth. Now, how do you feel latitudes will determine the climate of a place? It's very simple. So we have seen that earth is divided into 181 latitudes. Those are the horizontal imaginary lines going round the earth, correct? So basically the important latitudes which are there on the earth are, okay, the tropic of the equator, center of the earth, that is the longest latitude also, which divides earth into two equal hemispheres. In the northern hemisphere, the next important latitude we have is the tropic of Cancer. Then we have Arctic Circle 66.5 degrees and 90 degrees north, that is the North Pole. In the southern hemisphere we have Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degrees south, then Antarctic Circle and the South Pole, that is 90 degrees south. Now based on this latitudinal extent, we have different climatic regions or heat zones on the earth. So that is how latitudes are helping to decide the climate of a place. Suppose if the region is between Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn, it is receiving light of the sun in the vertical manner. It receives vertical rays of the sun. Okay. Now due to this vertical rays of the sun throughout the year, between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, we have the major climatic region on the earth which is called as the hot zone or the torrid zone. Here throughout the year the climate is hotter. So if a place or a country or a landmass is located between these two latitudes, we know in general the climate of this particular place is going to be hotter. Okay, so if the place is located next to the equator, we know that particular region will be having equatorial type of climate, where even there are no proper seasons. Days are very hot. By 3 p.m. it starts raining every day, and as you go away from the equator, okay, the temperature starts decreasing as you go higher towards the latitudes. Okay, as the latitude increases, rays of the sun also gets milder and milder. So above Tropic of Cancer, below Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn in the southern hemisphere, we never receive direct vertical rays of the sun, because you can see here the spherical shape of the earth. This is basically due to the spherical shape of the earth. Okay, the light of the sun is not equally distributed on the earth. As I said, equator and the region between the two tropics will be having vertical rays of the sun, and above Tropic of Cancer, below Tropic of Capricorn, there will be never vertical rays of the sun, or sun is not going to shine vertically overhead. So it will receive always something called inclined rays of the sun, slanting rays of the sun. So because of the slanting rays of the sun, the heat is also less. Okay, temperature also is not very high. So we have the next climatic region on the earth, or the heat zone of the earth, that is called as temperate zone. This temperate zone is divided into not temperate zone in the northern hemisphere between Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle, and in the southern hemisphere below Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle, above Antarctic Circle, is called south temperate zone. Here the climate will be moderate. Neither the summers are going to be very hot nor the winters are going to be extremely very cold, because it receives slanting rays of the sun. Is it clear? Now, above Antarctic Circle, towards the extreme pole, that is the North Pole, below Antarctic Circle and extreme South Pole, there are no rays reaching at all. Okay, so when sun shines on Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere near the polar region in the northern hemisphere, there will be light for 6 months. Okay, but that at the same time there will be no light at all in the southern pole. So it doesn't receive, both the poles will get light of the sun, mild rays of the sun, only for 6 months in a year. Okay, so this is the reason why we have extreme cold climate into these particular regions. And in the northern hemisphere, this is called frigid zone, north frigid zone, and in the southern hemisphere below Antarctic Circle, we have something called south frigid zone. So basically, Earth is divided into 3 major climatic regions. First is the hot zone, which is also called torrid zone. Okay, you can see in the next picture here. Okay, equator passes through it in between. Then we have temperate zone, that is called not temperate zone, moderate type of climate, south temperate zone, north frigid zone, and south frigid zone. So we have hot zone, temperate zone, and the frigid zone. So you know, when the place is in the temperate zone, how the climate is going to be. It is going to be very moderate. Okay, so if you are in the frigid zone, climate is going to be very, very cold, or it is going to be extremely very cold. So this is how latitudes help in determining the climate of a region. The first point. The second factor that affects the climate of a place is the altitude. Now what is this altitude? Altitude is nothing but it is the height above sea level. As you go into the atmosphere, higher into the atmosphere, or if you are climbing a high peak mountain, that means you are moving away from the sea level. What happens? There is, you must have come across in the summer season, okay, we always choose to go to the hill stations. Now why do you think hill stations in the summer season? On the plain ground or in the plain region, it's hotter, but above, as you go above the sea level, as height increases, the temperature starts decreasing, and that's the reason why hill stations or high peak mountains remain cooler, and very high peak mountains get cooler to such an extent that there is always snowfall. Now see the difference in the climate. When you are near the sea level or on the plain regions, climate is different, it is much hotter, or warmer. As you go higher on the highly raised land, it becomes cooler. So this is how the altitude or the height above the sea level also determines the climate of a particular region. So this is why we are going to see now. This is because of something called as normal lapse rate. This is something new for all of you. Now normal lapse rate is nothing but as you go higher into the atmosphere, if you are climbing a high peak mountain, okay, the temperature for every 165 meter, temperature drops down by 1 degree Celsius. So imagine you are at the base of this mountain. The temperature is 35 degrees. You go higher, crossing 165 meters, temperature is going to be 34 degrees Celsius. More 165 meter you climb, it is going to be 33. And imagine a mountain which is more than 4000 meters or 3000 meters, temperature will drop down to 0 degrees also, and there is going to be snowfall. So now you know the reason why hill stations remain cooler. The other reason also, because as you go higher into the atmosphere, as you move away from the earth, gravitational pull decreases. Air becomes thinner, and because of the air getting thinner, carbon dioxide content or water vapor also starts decreasing, which absorbs the heat of the sun. Because I have told you earlier, when we say temperature is increasing on the earth, we are measuring the temperature of the atmosphere, not of the land. Okay, so how temperature increases in the atmosphere? Because carbon dioxide gas absorbs the heat, water vapor also absorbs the heat, right? Because these quantities are less, as you go higher or on the high peak mountains, air is thinner, which is absorbing less heat. There are two reasons here. One is normal lapse rate, one is air getting thinner. So this is how altitude also decides the climate of one particular region. That's why on the hilly regions we feel cooler. This is the second factor. Now let's see which is the third factor. The third factor is the winds. Now we all know winds are playing major role in our life or life on the earth, correct? How winds are generated? Winds are generated, it is nothing but wind is a horizontal movement of the air. Now why there is a generation of the wind on the earth? We have also spoken, I told you about something called atmospheric pressure existing on the earth, right? We have said there is some places there is high atmospheric pressure when air is thick, okay, when the temperature is low. Some places when temperature rises, air is lighter, it rises creating an vacuum, that is called low pressure. And wind is generated because of the difference in the pressure area. So wind will move from high pressure to low pressure area. This is the horizontal movement of the wind. Okay, now from the hotter regions or near the equator or from the hot zone, when wind is moving, it will carry the warmth because the temperature is higher. And when it goes to the polar region, it will still carry the warmth, and in the colder region there will be generation of this warmth which will increase the temperature. This is how climate is changing when winds move from one place to another. Suppose if cold wind from the frigid zone is coming down towards the equator, when it is extremely very hot, this heat or this cold wind which is coming with lot of coolness will be giving relief to the people who are there into the hotter region because it brings lot of coolness along with it. So winds also change the climate of one particular place. This is the third factor. Okay, let's see the fourth factor. Okay, this is the picture which shows the generation of the cold winds. It is moving with lot of moisture or lot of humidity, bringing the coolness, and the hot winds bringing lot of warmth along with it. The next factor is the distance from the sea. Now students, we live in Goa along the west coast of India, southwest coast, right? There are many people who are staying along the coastal region. Now if you see the climate in during the summer season, especially if you go to Delhi or in place like Rajasthan, where there is no influence or they are not surrounded by any water bodies nearby, so they are far away from the sea, correct? Here the temperature during the daytime is very high, but night time it's going to be very cool. This is called extreme climate. So where you stay also determines the climate of that particular place. So if you are away from the sea, climate is going to be different. If you are along the coastal region, even in the summer season, you have equable type of climate. Okay, so daytime it's not going to be very hot because there is exchange. We are very close to the sea, so there will be exchange of sea and the land breeze. If you are very far away from the sea, there is no influence of the sea breeze coming at all. So the climate is going to be very different. So distance from the place or places near the coast will have equable climate. better climate. You will feel good throughout the year. There is pleasant climate throughout the year. So people like Mumbai, Maharashtra coast, Kerala or Tamil Nadu coast, people have big relief. But if you compare to the interior places, there is no influence of the sea, or they are very far from the water bodies, so they experience different type of climate. The next factor is, okay, before we begin with the next factor, I'll explain you what is land breeze and what is sea breeze. Okay, so when you are near the coastal region, okay, during the daytime water bodies get heated up, and also the land masses. You can see in the picture here, this is the condition during the daytime. Here there is the sun shining, this is the sea coast, this is the land area. What happens during the daytime? Sea gets heated up, land also is getting heated up, but land gets heated up faster. Okay, and it gives out also the heat faster. So during daytime, temperature increases on the land faster than the sea. Why? Because sea is continuously in motion. Water is continuously moving in the form of waves, in the form of tides, in the form of ocean currents, right? So it takes very long time to get heated up. So sea is cooler, or air above the sea is cooler during the daytime. So over the land it gets heated up faster, so temperature increases, creating, when temperature increases, there is low pressure. And since this is not getting heated up faster over the sea, there is high pressure. So during the daytime, from where the wind is going to blow in the coastal region, it is going to come from the sea to the land, from high pressure towards low pressure. So if on the land, if it is very hot, okay, but still you are getting cool breeze from the sea. That's why we always prefer to go and stay on the beaches, correct? Even during the daytime, you get nice cool breeze coming from the sea. So this is giving you milder effect of the hot, strong day, correct? So this happens during the daytime. Now along the sea coast, during the night time, land is cooler, right? Because it gives out heat very fast. By evening, temperature starts decreasing on the land. But over the sea, it is still, there is warmth in the water. During the night time, air over the sea is warmer, so temperature increasing here. So it is just vice versa. So here the temperature is more, low pressure. Here land is cool, okay. Here it is low temperature, so there is high pressure. So where the wind is going to move? From high pressure towards low pressure. So during the night time, there is a breeze called, that type of specific wind which blows from cool land to the warmer sea is called as land breeze, and this happens during the night time. So see how the heat balance is maintained along the coastal region. Okay, so we have the balance of the heat during the day and the night time, and this all happens when the places are along the places which are very close to the sea. There is formation of something called land breeze and sea breeze. So it will give the moderate effect to the people or to the life which exists along the coastal area. Okay, this is how this factor called as winds affect the climate of a place. Now this you can see the map of India showing the picture. So we know along the coastal region it's going to be moderate or equable type of climate. If you go in the interior like in Rajasthan or Uttar Pradesh or in Jammu and Kashmir, it's going to be extreme climate. So now the next factor is something called ocean currents. Now this is also something new we are learning. Ocean currents is nothing but it is the huge streams of water moving from one place to the other on the earth's surface. We know earth is divided into land masses or continents and oceans. So we have not put any boundaries to the ocean. Water gets mixed up. From the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, there is continuous movement. From the frigid zone, cold water comes down into the hot zone. From the hotter regions, the warm water goes in the form of huge waves, in the form of, this is called currents. You know, waves are blowing the surface water in the form of huge streams into the ocean or into the major water bodies. Okay, so this is called ocean currents. So it is same like winds, how they blow from warmer regions and carrying the warmth. So water from the warmer areas or from the hot zone will carry the warmth along this. So air which is blowing over the warm water or warm currents will be increasing the temperature, and when the water comes from the frigid zone or from the cooler areas will be giving the coolness to the air about it. So it will affect or decrease the temperature wherever these ocean currents are moving. So currents are divided into, ocean currents are divided into warm current and cold current. This is nothing but the flow of the surface water from the warmer regions and from the cooler regions. Okay, so this also affects the climate. Now, when there is movement of the wind on the earth, what happens when there are eclipses? Now, eclipse is something, when one celestial body is blocked by another body. It is hidden behind, and we are not able to see it from the earth. That is how the eclipse occur. Now during this eclipse time, we know there is change in the climate or weather condition for that duration of the time. Okay, so if winds are blowing, it's going to be change in the temperature or the degree of coolness or in the degree of the movement of the winds. Okay, so when the visibility of the celestial body is prevented or reduced by the passage of a second body. So there are two types of basically eclipses which happen on the earth. One is called lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. So let's see what is lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. Lunar eclipse is nothing but, we know when sun, okay, then the earth and the moon, when they come in a straight line. Okay, so that means when earth is between sun and the moon, okay, light of the sun is blocked by the earth, correct? And this is called as lunar eclipse. So there is a big change happening in the environment also, in the atmosphere also, correct? The atmosphere, there is change in the level of the sea, how that during the tides ocean currents also change because of this effect of the gravitational pull of the all three bodies coming in a straight line. Okay, let's see what is solar eclipse. Now again, all three celestial bodies, sun, okay, moon and the earth, again when they are in the same line, but here you can see the change, okay, that moon is in between sun and the earth. So moon is blocking the light of the sun and we can see the shadow. That is how the solar eclipse is called. So because of the eclipse also there can be change in the atmospheric condition, weather condition, okay, which suddenly there will be change in temperature, or there will be drop, or there will be winds which are moving very fast, will be milder. Correct, there will be lot of changes. Even animals can feel the change when there is eclipse happening on the earth. Okay, so it also causes major differences in the level of the atmosphere, or there is sudden change in the atmosphere, wind or atmospheric pressure also. These are the factors which are affecting the climate of the place. So students, I have done each factor in detail. So you can go through your textbook and also try to learn yourself, okay, by watching this with the help of this video. Thank you.